Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Alexander Howell, and today what I wanted to talk about was buying investment property, and specifically in Merida, Mexico. Now, the fact of the matter is, I'm new at this. I'm in the beginning of the game, but back in the United States, in my hometown of Kansas City, Missouri, and at the Lake of the Ozarks, I have bought and sold many, many houses and have invested in several, between renting, flipping, and a combination of those as well. Not only that, but I've actually purchased properties that we have lived in, renovated them while we lived there, and then sold them for profit. I don't have the perfect record. I don't think anybody does. And anybody that says that they do, make sure that you watch out for them. But in this video, we're going to talk about buying investment property and what to look for and some of the things that go with it. And feel free to like and subscribe to this channel. Hit the little notification bell. That's going to let you know anytime that I go live or am streaming on this channel, where you can ask me any question that you might have with regard to Merida or anything else in the world. Happy to answer your questions. Also, feel free to visit me on these social media links. At Alexander from KC is where you can find me pretty much anywhere, but my main jam is, of course, Instagram at Alexander from KC, or text me direct at 816-727-7740. That sends a text directly to me. So if you want to private message me any questions that you have there too. We have a Facebook group, Travel, the number 2 Merida, so Travel to Merida. Just go to facebook.com, hit Travel to Merida, and we got about 60 people in that group, and it's awesome. It's not a catty group. Questions get answered, and that's pretty much how we go. My site is alexanderhowell.com. Hit the Contact Us page. That sends me an email direct to. And last but certainly not least, please feel free to go back to the main channel right below where it says Alexander Howell and has my pretty face on there. Hit my face and hit the join button. That'll let you become a traveler or a voyager. That basically allows you to become a member of this channel. I'm going to start producing these videos, having them out early, having a few other conversations there. And yeah, just becomes a member of this channel, helps the channel grow and that kind of thing. So thank you guys for doing that, and much appreciated. Here we go. So the first thing that I want to get out there, because this is just a liability thing, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you exactly what to do, how to go down to it. And anybody that's invested in property or invested in anything in general is going to tell you without question, everybody's experience is different. So take what I say with a grain of salt, make sure it applies to your situation, but this is in no way, shape, or form financial advice. This is my knowledge being given to you based on my own personal experiences. So when you're looking at real estate investing in general, the first thing that you need to make sure of is that this tolerance for risk is something that you can handle. I am incredibly conservative. And when I say that I flip houses or I have rentals, people kind of lean back when I say that I'm a pretty conservative investor. I am. I know real estate very well. I've been in the industry for 10 years. I know finance very well because that was where I started my career, and it was also my education. I got a Bachelor of Financial Planning from the University of Missouri in Columbia, Missouri. That was my background. I feel very comfortable putting certain situations together, but at the same time, I make sure that everything that my wife and I have in the background can keep us going. If we can't rent a property, if we lose money somehow. I mean, the coronavirus pandemic is the perfect application of this. I had tenants in a property that were not able to pay full rent. I made sure that they stayed in their property. I made sure that we signed an agreement where they would be able to come back if necessary. They chose not to, unfortunately, but we lost a little bit of money. But the fact of the matter was that through all of the things that were going on, we were still okay, because we had planned it out, made sure that our investments, our money still covered all of the basics, and we were good to go. So that's the first thing I would say, is just know your risk, and there's nothing wrong with that. Make sure that if you're somebody that's willing to risk it all, fantastic, good for you. But if you're somebody that's conservative like me, make sure that before you purchase a property, you know the outlay of investment, the dollars that are going into it, the dollars that it's going to require on a monthly or yearly basis, and make sure that those align with your current income schedule. Because if they don't, and all of a sudden you lose a tenant, or your short-term rental, i.e. Airbnb income, isn't quite what you think it should be, you can put yourself in a very bad spot. Make sure you know your numbers before anything starts. Another part is make sure when we're looking at investing in a place that is not your home or anything like that, that we look at ethical standards. Now, this might sound like a parent speech, you need to do this. It's not that at all. I truly believe that when, especially as somebody who is foreign to a country, that if you are looking to invest, you never take advantage of the people that are currently there. Now, Merida, you will see a lot of people that complain about expatriates that come in. I say a lot of people. I think it's very few people, but they may have the loudest voices. My opinion is this: make sure that if you go into a property, if you are looking to purchase a property to renovate it, you understand the area, you understand the people that are there, you understand the entire situation, and you are not going at it to create a negative relationship with the people that are there, but that it is a mutually advantageous relationship for you, the people who utilize your property, and the people around surrounding the property. So the city should be thought of as something that helps you, because that is a selling point. Their infrastructure helps you invest, and you therefore are helping the city by making something better or renovating, whatever it might be, or building, and then they get taxes and all the dollars that come in from people that might utilize your property. So make sure that it is mutually advantageous for all parties and you create the perfect investment. On the other side of that coin, don't feel bad. I see so many people that no matter where they invest, it always comes off like they're being looked down upon because they're trying to help themselves by making something better. Now, if you come in and you take out a swath of homes by, maybe not illegal, but kind of unethical means, and then you build up apartments that don't really benefit the area, well, maybe you're not the best person in the world. But if you're taking a vacant property or vacant properties and you are renovating them and then making the neighborhood better, to me, that is looked at as a very positive thing. Now, some people are still going to come in and say, well, you have the ability to do that, so you're a bad person. I'm just going to be very honest with you. I don't believe that. I think that if you're trying to be the type of person that is making something better, then that's a good thing, and you're helping the neighborhood out too. So when it comes to the actual investment, the one thing that I will say about Merida is you have a positive situation in a lot of ways, but people are figuring it out. I mean, even when we bought a year and a half ago, I've seen so many more people get on and talk about how prices have gone up and gone up and gone up, and it's 100% true. And this has been happening year over year. And when you have an area that is very much appreciated as a tourist destination, when you have an area that is growing in size, you start seeing prices inflate. And actually in Merida, and I know that this is everywhere, but when I get onto forums and blogs and things like that, it's always called gringo pricing. You can probably guess why. But in truth, a lot of the people that are coming in and purchasing in Merida properties like we're purchasing, the people that are purchasing are not all expats. It's not like it's a 90% expat flood into Merida. This is a lot of people from Mexico City and other places in Mexico that see Merida as a wonderful place to go, and they're Mexican nationals and that's what they're buying. That's a fantastic thing. But them buying, expats buying, anybody else that's buying, even corporate purchases from all over the world, it's going to push prices up if this is a place that people want to be. So, big positive, make sure that you understand that prices are going up. Again, not financial advice. Act accordingly. If it's something that you've been thinking about for a long time and you feel the need to pull the trigger, maybe do. But we're also kind of at the top of the market. Everything's going a little crazy right now if you haven't noticed. And even when we got our updated budget, it was a little, we'll just say frustrating, because a lot of the prices of materials, raw materials, have gone up. Not necessarily the ones that they can get very close to where they are, but the ones that they have to ship in. The biggest one being wood. And for those of you who went through my video about our home in Merida and all the plans, we have a lot of cabinets, and some of those cabinets are going to be all wood. And went up is what it is. But that's also the part of know your investment, know what you're getting into, and plan on it. Always have a little bit held in the back on the side so that if prices go up, you're prepared for it. So I mentioned Airbnb earlier, and most of you know what Airbnb is. For those of you who don't, it's like vacation rental by owner, vrbo.com, but they both are instruments, apps, websites where you can go on and you can rent somebody else's home for whatever they're charging you, and you can either say yes, no, whatever. But the positive is that it's a really good site and app to go through and look at a bunch of different properties and find out exactly how much you're willing to spend, what you want, what the amenities are. Now, I've said on many different videos that the ones that I consider the most important are internet, pool, air conditioning. No questions asked. Obviously, if you're renting a house, you want to have a washer dryer, you want to have a kitchen. But for the most part, for me as an American, my body temperature can be equated to a furnace. I enjoy air conditioning. But a pool is obviously important. It's nice to be able to cool off. And internet is the way that we work from everywhere right now. But the amenities that you're looking for are the ones that you can find on there with the filters and everything else. Now, I've gone through this in a separate video as well, link in the description below. But if you're looking to purchase a property for investment, what you really need to look at is, okay, what do I want to put into a property, whether it's what I have the ability to or what is absolutely important to me. Like again, I mentioned for me, when I have a place like that and I know I'm going to spend months down there every year and eventually retire down there, I want that house to have everything that I could possibly want. Also look at a place like Airbnb, which we're going to get to in a second, at how important it is to people that want to rent your house. Now, some places you're going to look at and say, okay, well, that's pretty fancy. It's expensive. I don't need all of those things. But if you look at the ROI, the return on investment, do a really good survey of what's important to me that I have to have. And that's kind of how we went. It was, we absolutely want all of these things. This is how we want our place set up. We kind of looked at it in the reverse way of this is going to be our retirement, or maybe it's going to be our full-time house. We're going to want all of these things. If you're looking at it as a pure investment property, or you're not going to be down there as much as we're planning to be, you might say, okay, do I need a pool? Answer is yes, because all of the places that have pools give me a better ROI, and a pool is not ridiculously expensive to install down there. Air conditioning, solar, all of these things need to really be thought of in advance to figure out how much money you're going to earn, how much money you're going to save. Solar power is going to be a good investment over time because electricity is expensive. In fact, most of the Airbnbs will say this place is this much plus electricity. So that's just one of those things that you have to think about. Positive is, get a good realtor. They're going to be able to help you with that information as well. And as always, I recommend Elizabeth Rodriguez with Yucatan Beach and City Property. Look in the comments of any video that I have, yucatanbeachandcityproperty.com. She was amazing at kind of helping us go, okay, what horrible house do you want? Because when you renovate it, you're going to need this, this, and this. Fantastic, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. But getting back to the story, getting back to the video, when we look at these properties, take a look at how much it is, and I'll talk about it as well. But every property that looks similar to ours has a higher price per day, as you would expect. You can get percentages off if you stay there a week, a month, whatever it might be, but it's going to be more expensive. However, if you look at it and say, this property that's cheaper is renting out way more often than the property that's more expensive, something to think about too. So let's take a look at a couple of properties and I'll kind of show you what I mean. So you know, when I put these properties in, I put my normal filters in: washer, dryer, kitchen, whole house, pool, air conditioning, internet. And I believe I had it at 4-bed, 3-bath minimum. So these are basically the closest that I could find to ours by those filters. And then at the end of them, I'll show you the one that is actually really similar to what we're getting built out. So here we go. Okay, so here we are. Now, the first property on Airbnb that we found is this beautiful place, entire house, hosted by Pepe. So what it is showing is it can have 10 guests, 4 bedrooms, 5 beds, 4 baths. And they've got a great description. Just go on, take a look, but put in the filters that I just told you about, and you'll be able to find this place. But it's $585 a night. Obviously incredibly expensive, but it does have a 4.8 star rating with 5 reviews. It looks like a beautiful house. We'll click on a couple of pictures. But again, in this video, this is actually really close to our place as far as location is concerned. In this video, this is not about what to rent. We've done that video in the past. This is about, when I go through these pictures, take a look at some of the features. You've got the TV, you have fans, you have high ceilings, you've got a nice outdoor area, like different places for people to mix. I mean, obviously their outdoor area is probably what's selling the place. If you're looking at putting in a pool, get a quote on it. Ours was ridiculously cheap. I mean, just being honest, the one that we have out back here at our house was 6 figures, and we put a lot of time and effort and put features all over it. We knew we were going to probably be here for at least 16 years. So we're like, we're going to put the money in, the neighborhood's moving up, we're doing good, but we want what we want. These were not close to that, maybe 20% of that cost if we did everything that you could possibly want. So that's why we ended up putting in a pretty big pool for what you'll see normally. So you see just nice features, good kitchen, so on and so forth. Very beautiful outdoor area. Now we go down a little bit. This is $158 a night. So you still have a pool. Obviously, that's the main feature that they're wanting you to look for, which is understandable. They've got a lot of green space here. And again, they have a pool. This is still air conditioning, internet, everything. Nice place, you know, kind of simplistic, if you will, but they figured out the features that people want, and now they can charge $158 a night, and people will buy into it because of what they have. You'll also notice this picture right here. It's got their water in. My guess is that they don't have the filtration system set up in the place for the water. You'll see that quite a bit, those big 5-gallon jugs. Something to think about in the very last stages right before you list your property. Real quickly, moving on to this one. Now, this is all the same features or all the same priorities or parameters that I told you about. This one actually has 3 beds, so I'm not sure why it snuck in, but it has 4 beds. So that's probably what it was. But again, $65 a night, incredibly inexpensive, not near as nice as some of the others. But again, you're thinking about, I have a nice outdoor space, and where am I really going to spend most of my time? Kitchen, not as nice as some of the others, but look how big it is. It's a big kitchen. A lot of people can sit in there. Good location. You're spot on. Now, this last one that I'm going to show you is the one that really looks like what we are building in Merida. So real quick, let's hit this one. And again, now don't necessarily look at, again, how expensive it is per night and what you would do with that vacation. Look at what it has in the filters that I discussed. Look at what the layout looks like. Do look at the price per night, because that's going to be your return on investment based on what you're spending per month to keep it. And look at the setup if you are thinking about living down there part-time. In retirement, we have a lake home here in Kansas City. My plan is to be at our lake home during the summer, Merida for the rest of the year. So we still want to be there a lot. Not going to be there the whole time, but when we're back here, it's definitely going to be an Airbnb. So let's take a look. All right, I've got it brought up here. So this is, again, an entire house. It's 4 bedrooms. Ours will be 5, 4.5 baths. And ours is a different setup, but it's not too dissimilar. They've got the pool. They have another area here. They have bedrooms on this side. They have utilized their space very well, which is really important. And they are able to charge $395 a night. Again, this is one guest, but it'll be about the same even if you have 2. And it's $3,500 for basically a week of staying there. So this beautiful house is $395 a night. And if you're looking to have that big of an investment in something, and you know that you can charge almost $400 a night, then start looking at, okay, if I can do that, let me look at these other comparative properties that I just put on here, look them up, go through them and say, okay, well, the $400 a night properties, they're blocked out for a crazy amount of time. That means that they're really popular. Or maybe they're not. Maybe the prices that are in $200 a night or $65 a night, like we saw that one, maybe those are the most popular. Either way, the biggest thing is do your research ahead of time so that you can make sure that your return on investment is worth all of the headache that it's taken to get your property, to renovate it, and then to start leasing it out. Because you also have to think about some of the other expenses that you're going to have. Let's get back to this. So you're gonna have to think about the other expenses that you have. It's not just going to be, I paid cash for this, because that's most of how it works. You're not really gonna finance a property. So you're gonna, whether you take a HELOC like we did for your house in the city, and that's how you pay for the property down there, whatever it is, you still have money going out. And this has to be something that is an intelligent investment that's going to pay you back. So if that is the case, make sure that it's worth it. The juice is worth the squeeze, right? So if you're getting a 2% return on this, maybe only look at that as you're not doing it as an investment, but that you want the property and you're going to live there sometime. It would be a terrible investment if that was the only thing that you were using it for. I almost said using it. I did say using it. Using it for. There you go. Anyway, getting back to it. But if you're only getting 2% back on investment, me personally, and again, this is not financial advice, this is just me with my line of thinking, I would not want to be a part of that. I would want to find other places to put my money, and then this would just be a side thing that whatever money I can get back out of it, great. But if it's my main source of income or my main source of retirement planning or anything like that, that's not going to be my jam. If, however, you are looking at this and you do the research and you find the right realtor and you find the right architect, which, by the way, I've said this on many other videos, but ours is Henry Ponce, henryponce.com. If you find the right person, they're going to be able to answer a lot of the questions that you have, and that's going to help your investment as well. I have tons of people that I communicate with on a daily basis. But they're going to be able to help you out and figure out where you need to buy, what you need to buy, and how you need to renovate. We put a lot of money into this, again, because we have personal use, and that goes into it. But because of those personal use things, we're going to be able to charge a premium. We'll see how much that premium is. If all of a sudden we can't rent it out for the amount of money that we want, we might have to either lower the price or lower our expectations of what we're going to get from it. You're also going to have to think about not just, again, your mortgage, not just, again, taxes and all those things. You're going to have to think about the fact that you're going to have to hire a property manager. You're going to have to pay for any repairs that come in. You're going to have to pay for somebody to go out if there's an emergency. All of these things have got to go in it. Real estate investing is not the easiest thing in the world, but the positive about real estate investing is that it can really, really help a portfolio that needs a little bit of diversification. Again, I cannot say this enough. This is not financial advice. This is me with personal experience, having done this several times. in the States, looking at the numbers here, communicating for hundreds, if not thousands of hours with realtors and architects and other people that have gone through this in the past and saying, based on my knowledge, I'm ready to jump into this, even though jumping in is a little terrifying. Also, and again, recognize right now, this is being recorded June 7th of 2021. I assume it'll come out somewhere around June 10th or 9th or whatever it might be. But as of this recording, prices everywhere are really, really high. Now, I personally don't see a dive based on the numbers that I'm seeing, but at the same time, it's something that you really need to make sure that you watch out for. Inventory in the market in Kansas City is so ridiculously low that even with construction prices going up, people are still buying new construction homes. Wood is expensive. Anything metal is expensive. It seems like every part of a house is expensive. But there's so little inventory that if you want a new place or if you want a new house, you're going to be in a really tight, really competitive resale market that continues to push prices up, or you are going to be in a new construction market that is very, very expensive. And we found that out with this property. If we were able to move on it even a year ago, wouldn't have been near as bad. Because we weren't, we're suffering the consequences now. So the original budget has changed, and not in an insignificant way. That's what I was trying to say in the beginning of the video. If you are wanting to pull the trigger now, do it, but make sure your numbers are right. I personally don't believe in waiting for recessions or depressions or, markets to calm down, because there's always advantageous and I guess it'd be disadvantageous. I don't know, moments in the market. And basically, so what I mean is this: if everything is selling like crazy, people might look at their house and say, well, my house was worth $500,000 last year. Now it's worth $650,000. I gained $150,000. I might as well sell. You'll gain $150,000, but now you're going to have to buy another place, or you're going to have to rent, and all of that's inflated too. It all depends on the time in the market and where you are. Make sure the numbers work for you, and you'll be okay. But if you don't, you're taking a much riskier investment, and some people are willing to do that. But understand the consequences if something fails too. It's a tale as old as time. And history always repeats itself and all of those sayings, but just understand that wherever you find yourself, make sure that you are comfortable. And if you're comfortable pulling the trigger, do it. All right, so to kind of sum up this video, I'm gonna say this. Make sure that you research the heck out of it. I can't say it enough. This is not financial advice. This is one person's opinion of their experience in the market over the last 10 plus years. Buying and selling and buying, renovating, renting, flipping, short-term rentals, all that kind of stuff. I've done it, I've been there. But it's not financial advice because it's all about your particular situation and what you are comfortable with. If you're not comfortable pulling the trigger, that is one thing I'll say immediately. Don't pull the trigger. Wait until you've got the numbers, until you are comfortable, and then it will be a weight off of your shoulders because you'll now be excited about it and know that you are prepared no matter what the cost. Trailing on to that, still know your numbers. I might not be able to give you perfect financial advice, but what I will say is this: make sure you know what you are getting into. Look up every forum, contact anybody that'll call you back, ask every single question. We bought a house in a foreign country having never done it before, and we did it pretty quick, even though, as I've said in several videos, I kind of knew that it was gonna happen. We are different, but we knew that we could make it work within our financial plan. It was easy for us to make that determination, but taking that first step was still a little scary even for us. Also, when you're thinking about Merida, Mexico, a lot of people, I think, look at it and say, well, this is going to be really cheap to get into. It can be, but keep in mind that if you're thinking about being somebody like me, who I try to make our house a technology hub and that kind of thing, technology is way more expensive down there. If you're thinking about buying a TV or 10 TVs, it's going to be ridiculously more expensive than buying them here. It's just a fact of life. They're more expensive here, or they're more expensive there than they are here, is what it is. So if you're looking at things like that, understand that that's going to increase the budget. However, and there's a whole nother argument to have with this, but let's just have the one that we can have right now. Labor is cheaper. Piggybacking onto that comment, I cannot tell you enough. I've said it again in other videos, but make sure that you are doing the right thing for not just your house, not just your family, but for the community at large. A lot of the things that I see a lot are because of gringo pricing. It pushes prices up for everybody else, and everybody else meaning the people that actually live there. It's true. It's going to happen, but market forces you cannot control. You also cannot control where you want to live. If you want to be there, enjoy it, but be a positive part of the community. And I think that you'll find that everybody's okay. Everybody's going to get along. All right, so I hope I gave out some valuable information between making sure that you have a positive return on investment for your short-term rental or long-term rental. And I didn't really get into long-term rental, and the reason for that is that's just simply not what I'm looking for at this time. If I can find an expert in it, I'd love to bring them on, have a conversation about it on a YouTube video. But for now, we're looking at short-term rental, and that's where my mind has been focused since we purchased this place. So make sure your ROI is good. Make sure you understand the market. Make sure you understand that the market is increasing right now and where it is. Talk to as many people as you possibly can before you pull the trigger and make the decision. And always be aware of what's going on. Hire good people. Learn from other people who have done it before how to hire good people, and never be afraid to ask as many questions as you can, because this is not just a home. This is part of your financial life. And even though people downplay that a bit sometimes, it is incredibly, incredibly important to get something this big right. Please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the little notification bell, and that will let you know anytime that one of these videos goes live. Or if I'm streaming, you can be part of the conversation with me there. Ask any questions that you have when I stream. And so like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Appreciate it. So for those of you who stayed to the end, thank you so much. My name is Alexander Howell. Please feel free to visit me at alexanderhowell.com. Send me an email. From there, it's just the Contact Us page. It sends me a direct email. That is all the Contact Us page does. Also, feel free to follow me at these social media links. You can find me at 816-727-7740. That is my direct text line. I have a lot of people that text me just with random questions or what you're doing, how you doing, all that kind of stuff. Also at Alexander from KC on pretty much every social media network. The main one that I have is Instagram. So if you go to instagram.com/Alexander from KC, or just look it up on your app, that's where you're going to find me. On top of that, we have a Facebook group, so facebook.com, and the group is called Travel, the number 2, Merida, so Travel to Merida. And I created the group. We've got about 60 plus members at this point, so it's growing pretty strong, but very steady. And the reason I like that it's growing steady is because the whole goal of the group is if you have a question, it gets answered. It's not a bunch of petty conversations or judgments or anything like that. This is about, hey, what do you think about this? The community helps, and that's it. So Travel to Merida, feel free to enjoy that as well. And last but certainly not least, we have some members of the group that are actual members of this channel. So if you go to this channel's origin, just click my purple face that says Alexander Howell. Go to my actual YouTube channel. It's got all the videos and all the displays. There's a join button there. I would love it if you became a part of the community there. We're going to start doing community only, membership only things, but you can become a traveler or a voyager. I would love it either way, but that just helps the channel. It allows me to make even better content, and hopefully get back to Merida a few more times so that I can actually be in the place that I want to be and talk about all the time, as opposed to doing it with a green screen behind me and Kansas City in the background, because this is totally my apartment and it's not a computer generated thing. No, but seriously, being a traveler or voyager is very much appreciated. If you don't want to do it, you still get the same great content and you're good to go. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate you guys following me on all those things and become travelers and voyagers with me. And as always, peace.